In this section of the course, we're going to cover risk management. So what exactly is risk management? Risk management is a fundamental process that involves identifying, analyzing, treating, monitoring, and reporting risk to ensure that an organization's objectives are achieved in a manner that is consistent with its risk appetite. This systematic approach to understanding and addressing uncertainty is a huge part of decision-making in any organization, regardless of its size or vector. First off, we have risk identification. The first step in risk management lifecycle is risk identification. This involves recognizing the potential risks that could negatively impact an organization's ability to operate or achieve its objectives. Risk identification is a proactive process with a goal of creating a comprehensive list of risks based on those events that might prevent the organization from achieving its objectives. Next, we have risk analysis. Now, once risks have been identified, the next step is risk analysis. This involves evaluating the likelihood and potential impact of the identified risk. Risk analysis can be qualitative, which means you're using categories and scales to rate risk, or quantitative, using numerical values. The outcome of this step is to prioritize a list of risks based on their potential severity, which can then be used to guide the risk treatment process. The third step is risk treatment. Risk treatment involves developing strategies to manage identified risk. These strategies can include risk avoidance, risk reduction, risk sharing, or risk acceptance. The choice or strategy depends on the risk potential's impact and the organization's risk tolerance. The goal of risk treatment is to reduce the potential impact of risk to an acceptable level. Fourth, we have risk monitoring. Risk monitoring is an ongoing process that involves tracking identified risk, monitoring residual risk, identifying new risk, and reviewing the effectiveness of the risk management process. This process is a crucial step because it ensures that the risk management process is dynamic and responsive to changes in the organization's internal and external environment. Finally, we have risk reporting. The final step in the risk management lifecycle is risk reporting. This involves communicating information about risk and the effectiveness of the risk management process to all relevant stakeholders. Risk reporting can take many forms, including dashboards, heat maps, or detailed reports, and they should be tailored to make sure that the needs of the audience are met. This step is crucial for ensuring accountability and supporting informed decision-making. So, in this section of the course, we'll be focusing solely on Domain 5, and specifically Objective 5.2, which states that you must be able to explain elements of the risk management process. First, we will discuss the different types of risk assessment frequency. Risk assessment frequency simply refers to how often the risk assessment process is conducted within the organization. This can vary based on the nature of the organization and the type of risk involved. We're going to cover ad hoc, recurring, one-time, and continuous risk assessment. Then we're going to jump into a discussion of risk identification, where we will discuss how a business needs to identify potential risks and how a business impact analysis must be performed. And we're also going to cover many concepts, including recovery time objective, recovery point objective, mean time to repair, and mean time before failure. Next, we're going to talk about qualitative risk analysis. This is a risk analysis method that involves assessing and prioritizing risk based on the likelihood of occurrence and potential impact using descriptive or categorical scales. After that, we're going to discuss the other type of risk analysis, which is quantitative risk analysis. This is a risk analysis method that involves numerically estimating the probability of each risk and its potential impact on project objectives. It uses numerical data and statistical techniques to calculate risk levels. Then, we're going to discuss the different risk management strategies, and these can be risk transfer, risk acceptance, risk avoidance, or risk mitigation. After that, we will cover risk monitoring and reporting, including the key points that you can look over while performing these steps and how they can affect your risk management process, especially in the long term. Finally, we're going to take a short quiz to see what you learned during this section of the course and review each of those quiz questions to fully ensure that you can explain why the right answers were right. So, let's get started with our coverage of risk management in this section of the course.